Oh me, oh my, welcome back, everyone. When we last left, it was quite some time ago. What we're going to do today is take a look at the tween test scene. So, what I've done here is I have commented out the switch to test, which we had previously been working with. Now, what's interesting is when I now run the tween test scene, we see a white window. Yes, a white window. So there's obviously a problem, but I can still hit escape and it goes away, which means that our tween test loop is still running. We're just having an issue. Now, I happen to know where that issue is. If you remember, we upgraded to Love2D version 11. That was a few months ago. And what we did not do for the tween test scene was we didn't change the clear for our, let me check, where is that? That's in the test scene. We didn't change our love.graphics.clear from 0 to 255 values for the colors to basically it's from 0 to 1 now. So they've changed it from a 0 to 255 to a 0 to 1. So basically it's a floating point value. And if you look in our tween test scene, let me double click that so it'll stay. You see we're doing this. So what we want to do is all we have to do is the following and we'll get our scene back. Like so. Now we run, and you see is here. We're gonna mess around a little bit with this scene just because I feel like I wanna make it a little bit nicer, just to kind of mess around and kind of get back into this stuff a little bit. And what I want to do is just add a couple of labels to this so that we kind of get a better explanation of what's going on. And instead of using, right now I've got the comma and the period mapped to cycle from our available tweens. But instead, let's use the left and right arrows. And if you remember, we can use left and right arrows by simply doing the following. We can test for key down left and right like that. And then, although you can't see me press them, now the left and right arrows will cycle through our tweens, and that's what we want. So let's now come up here and create another label. And in addition, I don't really like the fact that this label is it's a global label. So I want to add it to our actual tween test object as opposed to having it just out like that. I'm going to run this real quick, and yeah, there was another one down here. That's what I seem to remember. Well, because we changed the label. Yeah, right here. So all we need to do is just add it to that. So now that when we cycle, it changes that label. And let's go ahead and let's add a couple of more labels. So I'm just going to duplicate this, and I'm going to call this, let's just call it level 2 and 3 for now. Those are just going to be our instructions. So for this one, we're going to say left, right arrows. We're just going to explain what they do. They cycle the tween type. Now, if this is boring, just hang on, because we're actually going to make a change to how the tween stuff works. Okay, but this is just going to take just a few moments. And then let's do, instead of putting it at 15, let's put it down near the bottom. So to do that, we'll just get the height of our window, and we'll subtract, let's just subtract 45 from that. And then we'll do the same thing for the one down here, and we'll just subtract like 20 instead. And what we want to do is we want to say the spacebar execute tween, just so that we'll know what it is we're doing. So now we also need to add these labels. And to do that, all we have to do is add them to the entity manager of this particular scene. Let's see if we did it right. We did, except for our space bar. Oh yeah, see, look, I've got this in the wrong place. We just need to move this as yeah, so we need this stuff too, like so. Oh, and we have a comma. Now we should be able to see everything. So left and right arrows cycle the tween type, spacebar executes the tween, which is exactly what we want. Now, we could go and do a few other things here, but that's good enough for now. I just wanted to make the scene a little bit more clear for the people who are downloading it from GitHub to know what the heck is going on. So now, in addition, if we go to the tween class or the tween Lua file, we'll see that when we create a tween, we have a couple of to-dos in here, and one of those is maybe we should return something so we can stop it or complete the tween early. And we also have this to-do here, which is if the tween has a completion function, then let's just call it. Well, in order to do that, let's change how we're doing this. Let's make the tween itself an object so that we can return it and we can add things to it, such as a callback function. Oh, whoa, amazing, yes. So let's think about this. So right now all I'm doing is just creating this local function, update, and basically adding it to this active tween set or array. And so it's really not an object, it's just a single function that's doing this stuff. Let's actually create a table. And that's what, let's add that instead. So we'll do this like so. And with that, we will need to take these items and bring them into our table since we're going to be using them in that manner. And of course, they're not going to be locals anymore because they're part of our tween table object. And we're just going to do this. And then just because of the way the assignments work, we're going to just do that. And in addition, we're going to need this duration as well because we're going to use that. As you can see in here, we're using that. And what else do we need? We need the target. We also need the target. So let's stick that in there. Gosh, that looks really good. Now to add a function to a table, because we're doing all this at once, we're initializing the table and we're adding everything to it. Let's do it like this. So update is the function, and it will take self and dt because we need to be able to refer. We're going to grab this stuff in our function as well. We're going to need that. So let's do that. And now we'll grab all of these things like so. And oh wait, let's check that. Right here. Sorry, I grabbed too much. Yeah, pretty simple. And we'll paste that in like that. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is everywhere where there's just a variable that's been referred to from the outside, we need to actually tell it which one. And we may need property name too. Let's just go with this for now and see what we get. So self.target, self.t, diff from self.t, self.duration. Let's see what we get when we do that. And in addition, we will need to change this. Well, and what we want to do here is we just want to call, because since now we have a actual table, we're going to call it. So we're going to call the function, and we're going to do the colon. So then that automatically adds the self right there, or actually it adds the object, of course. Let's run this and see what type of adders we have. No adders, but we're not getting anything occurring yet. So let's check our stuff here and make sure we have what we need. And that is, that's the problem. Of course, we need to set our active tween to this table now, this new table. So let's push it. And it's working. Fantastic. Wonderful. Now, this will allow us to return this table. So let's do that. Let's return the table. Return the new tween object. Or let's just call it a table. That's what it is. So return tween like that. And another thing that I noticed that I'm doing here that I don't like, that is I am returning true if I want to stop the tween. I think I would rather return false and then return true if the tween is supposed to continue updating. So that means this, if that active tween.update returns false, then we remove it from the table. And since we're going to see if it has a completion function, let's grab the tween itself and assign it to a variable like that. And then let's check if that thing has a function called, let's just say onComplete. Then let's call onComplete, and let's call it using the colon methodology so that we can actually, but on the callback, we'll give it the tween object just so it'll know which one it is. That may or may not be important. We can change that later if we need to, of course. So let's just run this and make sure we haven't added any errors here, and it looks like we're okay. So now what can we do with this? Well, let's go and let's see. First of all, I need to enable debug mode because we're gonna do some printing. But so when we create this tween here on the initial one, let's assign it to, and I'm in tween test. I'm moving around pretty fast. Let's assign it here, and then let's assign its onComplete. Let's add a new onComplete table reference. And let's assign it to a function which we're going to create called onComplete. And then down here, or actually let's just do it up here, since I think we can do it up here. Function, let's just make a function called onComplete. And then since we take the tween type, we'll say tween. And then let's just say print completed. Oops. Completed. Let's run this and see what happens. Let me bring our debug window over. And we should run it, and it should give us completed. Lovely. So now we can get an actual callback when we complete these. So what in addition we may want to do is we may just want to have, like, actually let's do this and say self.t. So let's assign it to like a member variable in our table, and we can say the following. Say if self.t is not equal to, man, it's been so long, not equal to, right, nil, then let's create a cancel. Let's just say self.t. Let's call it cancel. So what we want to do is we want to be able to cancel a tween that's in progress and just stop it. Now, that means we're going to have to come back here and do a little bit of work. But let's check and make sure that we haven't broken anything real quick and press it. Okay, so attempt to call a method cancel a nil value, which is fine. We knew that that would happen because we haven't created that yet. So let's create a method in here such that we can cancel our tween. We'll call it, of course, cancel function, and we'll take our self, and then we'll say end. And what do we want to do? We want to set some sort of cancel, like maybe like self.cancel, well, self.stop tween equals true. Then we can say the following. We can say if self.stopTween, or basically we're saying if the stop tween is set to true, then we do this. And we can actually say cancel, and we could say basically should we complete the tween. So we should say should complete. And I did that incorrectly, didn't I? So, and then we could just say self dot should complete equals should complete. That will tell us if we should complete the tween or not. So then what we can do here is we can just say if self.should complete, then, and we already have it here, that self.target property name equals the final part of the tween. So and actually we want that to happen. Gosh, there's a couple of things. If we are doing stop tween and let's think about this. So if we're stopping the tween and we should complete, then we want this to happen. Oh, I'm sure there's a better way to do this. We want if this or if this, so if we're actually finished with the tween. But it's really kind of weird because we're doing this if check here. So one of these is already true. So I guess we could say, here's what we could say. If the duration has been, if we're greater than the duration, or the self should complete is true, then we will set the target value to the end value. And part of me thinks that, no, I think that's good. Yeah. Let's see what that does. Well, first of all, let's try to run it. Yeah. So our should complete is basically false. So then if I came over here and we said cancel and we set that to true, then it should pop back. Yeah. I think that's what it's doing. I think it's doing the correct thing. Let's come over here and return false. Let me say okay. Let's do this real quick. I'm gonna comment this out and let's run it. Okay, it's doing the same kind of thing. Right, of course. So that's all right, because we've added a new feature in here, which apparently is, oh, I know what it is. Of course, we're creating a tween here. When we stop, we cancel this tween. So really, what we need here is, trying to remember what it was we were doing here. Let's grab this and shove this over on the side here so we can see what's going on. By the way, I suppose I could make this a little larger. All right, so what's going on is, what is our create? Target property name 2. So we're going name 2. The target property name 2, we want to go 200 here. And then we want to, for this one, we want to go to 0. And we want it to take 1 second. So I'm wondering what the oh, that's a problem. We are not actually storing the 2. And we need to store the 2 because that's going to change otherwise. It's going to change on us. Self.2 equals 2. And then this should be self.2. So it's really, I think. Let's try and see. Oh, yes, of course. Forgot my comma, you know? Commas are so important here. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't need self here. We're in the table selection now, right? There we go. Nope. Still not quite correct. We have, let's see, what else are we doing? Let's print this out when we complete it. Let's print 2. We may actually not need this. Oh, and I need to... Our debug mode enabled? It is. Let's now this and grab our command window and go... Ah. You know what? We actually don't... Let's rethink this. All right, let's undo a few of these things. Let's undo these items here. Just no. This actually I think is necessary, except for this part. I don't think we need that. What's interesting is we're not getting in that. So let's print and see where 2 is. And bring over our window, so I'll hit space and space again real quick, and we're 200. And we did set it, you saw it. So really the question is from equals target property name. So let's print from, so I want to see where that's coming from. Target property name right here. So let's see what we've got here. So when we start a tween, we've got from, and then we've got from. Yeah, see, it's setting it, and then it's getting reset. Why is it getting reset? Because you see where it's getting where it's getting, and it's not setting correctly. That's interesting. Of course, we may be entering this function, this completion. Actually, let's do this. When we cancel it, are we entering this twice? I don't think so. I don't think we're entering it twice. Let's do this. When in our tween test, let's comment these 2 lines out for now. So basically we just want to cancel the tween, and yeah, see, that worked. which is what we wanted. And then if I just cancel it without passing in a true, we should get it just to stop. Yeah, man, that's good. So it's setting it back here. Cancel. Yeah, okay. So it's canceling it here. So it says cancel, and then we've already created another tween and started, and we've saved the value here before this thing gets into this update. That's the issue, all. Okay, that's the issue. So what we need to do then in the cancel function is we should say if should, and probably my initial instincts there was correct, you know. Then we set, and that also means that this is, as I thought before, is going to have to be added here, because we're going to need that self. Let's just see. We've got some cleanup to do. Yeah, that's actually correct. So what we should do then, we don't need this at all. So we don't need this or this. What we do is the following. This can be a separate if, because if we've already stopped, just return false, because basically we're done. Let's check that and make sure that still works. 77. Oh, 2 thins. Silly me, my thins. Okay. Press. And that worked. Okay. Beautiful. Now, we're having a little bit of an issue there, and that is, and it's probably because, yeah, I know why. Tween test. When we cancel, we actually need to take this into 2. We need to set self.t equal to nil, so it can let go, because that's why it was. But then we can cancel. Yeah, man. And then if we say don't complete it, then it should just go back. And the reason why it's going slow, of course, is because it's taken a second. So it's just less distance that it has to go through. Let's do this. Let's do the same here. And let's go on. And so either way, we'll get it on complete. And yeah, that seems to work, right? Here, then back, here, back. Yeah, I believe so, except I'm thinking that when we here and then come back, and if I go again, it should come back to, oh, that's why. That's why. So what we should do is we can actually look at the 2. What we could do, if self is nil, so how will we do this? Well, let's look at the tween itself. If we have a tween, if it's nil or self.t.2 is equal to 0. Let's check that one real quick. Yeah, that's working. Okay, so if it's nil or if 2 is 0. Actually, I'm sorry. It has to be not nil. And so then we say else if self.t not equal to nil and self.t.2. So we're checking to see where it's tweening to is equal to 200. Basically, was it this tween that we were doing? Then we're going to just change it to tween the other way. So that's what was, I think that's what was going on. So let's try that. Actually, if self, we need to do the first one. So that'd be this one. If self, I guess we don't want to do this. We don't want to do that. So that's what it's going to start out as. Yeah. So we want actually we want this. If we don't have a tween at all, or if that tween is 0, then we need to start one. Whoops. That's what we want, I think. 5. Self. Oh, I'm sorry. Do it again. I'm thinking too quickly. Yeah. That's working. That's working. And the reason why now it's not slowing down, of course, is because we've yeah. Okay. Awesome. And additionally, since now we have this working, so great. Where is our print? I want to get rid of the print that we had. Oh, here. Get rid of this one. And was there another one in here somewhere? Nope, I think that's it. Run it again. We'll just check. Yes, excellent. Now we have a very cool deal. In addition, let's do this. Let's say local. Let's start the tween in the middle, so the thing tweens back and forth from like the just left of the middle, just like in the center. So let's say x start or something like that equals love.graphics get width. Let's divide that by 2. And then we'll say minus however far we want to go. So we were doing, let's do 300, so we'll do 150. Let's just do x start and x end. That would be plus 150. We're starting in the middle. We'll start left of it and we'll go to the right of it the same amount. So it'll be like a nice looking, it'll be a nice looking deal here. And position X and Y because we've got it right here. So we should say space. Yeah, we're going to need to update that as well. So let's do that here. We're going to have to do kind of the same thing. Position.x equals, not x start, but we're going to need, we'll start it in the same place, which is just to the left of center. Just for fun. Let's check and make sure that that's actually working. Yes, it's working. Good. Good. Excellent. So if 2 equals, I think that makes it a little more clear, don't you think? So it's x start, and then we'll go to x credit, X start. There. If that works, tween. Yeah, that feels better to me. It's more of a, it features the theme of the tween in the middle. Great. So we've done some good work here. We now have a callback that we can call back when the tween completes. Now, additionally, we might also want, when we cancel the tween, we may actually want the callback as well. Let's do that. Where would that be? Right here. If should complete. So if we complete the tween, we'll actually, it will get the callback. It's going to get the callback here whenever on the next update. So I think we're okay. So it'll actually get called. We just won't know that it's been canceled. I suppose we could. You can actually check for that in the callback because we have the tween in the callback, and we could check to see if stop tween is true. So you can know if the tween has been stopped. And I think with that, I'll wrap up this episode, and hopefully it's been enjoyable and informative, and we'll see you in the next one.